Hello, everyone. uh, okay. Take two of this video. I started a video before, but I wasn't happy with the way it was going, so I decided to start this one again. Okay. Oh, climbing up the stairs. How's everyone? How was your New Year? I hope you enjoyed your Christmas and your New Year. And I hope, well, I don't hope, we don't hope here. We are gods who create, and we know that year 2022 will be absolutely fabulous. We know that. We already know. We don't doubt. We're clear of that. There's a different vibration in the air. And it seems like 2022 has come with I feel like it's come with the winds of change. Like it's the beginning of something new. It's the beginning of a new era where lots of people are going to come out of their shell and be who they truly are. They're gonna be tired of the old ways of doing things, and they're just gonna say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go all in now. I'm done living life the way I used to live it, and I'm gonna now live life the way I want to live it. So that's out of the way. First of all, before I get into this video, let's acknowledge ourselves as creator beings who create by feeling good, feeling pleasure, being in alignment with our thoughts and desires, and nurturing our thoughts and desires, and having pure expectation and knowing, and holding steadfast and holding true, and being steadfast and being loyal to our vision, being loyal to our desire, until the masculine principle of creation provides us with a 3D form of our desires. Right, this topic here, I don't know what to call it yet, but I will, by the end of the video, I'll know what to call it. But this video has been inspired by a lady I was listening to yesterday. She's called Charming Goddess, and she has a very provocative, but also a very, I'd call it leading edge kind of viewpoint on most of the things that she said. I started listening to her maybe 3 years ago, three years ago, on and off. But I like how she is. I like how straightforward and how I don't give a fuck way she is. She doesn't care about what she needs to say. What she needs to say is she says things that most people would be afraid to say, to talk about. She even talks about her relationship with her husband and other men, even though she's married. When I started listening to her, she wasn't married then, but now she's married. And she talks about all that, and she doesn't care who judges her and who doesn't judge her. She's living life the way she lives. I like her because she's carefree, and she often has a viewpoint of how things are that are quite, if you will, outrageous, but true for many people at least. Because she is what would I call it? She is I wouldn't say a follower. She is an affinity with Lilith consciousness, just like I am, and so she likes the darkness. She's comfortable in the darkness of humanity, just like I am. So I'm attracted to that. Right. So yesterday she was talking about fetishes. She's talking about how to hate. The topic of the video was how to hate men, but she went into talking about fetishes and how she was saying that most people do not know that they have fetishes. And when we say fetishes, I don't mean like the ones that are supposed to be, perverse, like, the ones that most people know about, like, people sleeping with babies and young kids, and you know, violence and sleeping with animals, and snuff films, and all that. She wasn't talking about that. She was talking about the everyday fetishes that people have that they are unaware of, because we don't really know ourselves that much. Most people don't know themselves that much, and most people don't take the time to especially go into their darkness. They don't want to face it. We are not taught how to do it. That's the thing. We are not taught how to do it. We are not. It's not an acceptable thing to acknowledge your darkness. It's still frowned upon. Even though your darkness is what gives you an edge, it's what helps you create very fast, very quickly. But we fear it. We fear our darkness so much, and so we don't want to come to terms with it. We don't want to face it. And I had to, even though I have looked at a lot of things about myself and how I some of the things that most of the things that I suppress about me. Yesterday, I was reminded again about some of the things that may be fetishes in me that I have been in denial of. She gave an example of how a woman who continues to be in relationships with men who beat her. So it was like she was saying that if you continue being in a relationship where a man beats you, every time you are in a relationship, a man will beat you, call you a bitch, or treat you badly, and you keep going back, or you keep having the same type of man. That means there's a part of you that likes it, and I know about this. It's a shadow. It's very hidden. Most people don't know that the things that they say they don't like, they actually do like, but it's very subconscious. It's hidden in them, so they can't see it, or they are not willing to see it, and they've dissociated from it. So when they see it in somebody else, that's when they get triggered. But the reason why they get triggered is because it exists in them. So she was saying, yeah, if you're continuously getting into a relationship with a man who beats you, then some part of you likes it. Because if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be in that relationship. A woman who doesn't like being beaten will not be beaten. Or if it happens once, that will be the end of it. I know, for example, for myself, if I am in a relationship, if I even sense a little bit of aggression, and I see an inkling that this man might slap me or hit me, and we are not in a sexual we're not having sex at that point. No, I'm done with you. It's not gonna happen, because no, I'm not even gonna put myself in that situation where a man will have the guts to hit me, or because my boundaries my boundaries are clear. So I'm not gonna be in a relationship like that, you know. Um, and she was like, some women say that they don't like it or they complain about it, but they keep going back over and over and over and over again. So yes, I've said that, you must like it. So she was saying that could be a fetish. Well, not could be, that is a fetish. Because you like being beaten by the man. That's why you keep going back. And that's why you sort of single out that type of a man, because not every man beats women. Some men just walk away. Some men will, no matter what you do to them, they won't hit you. But you manage to just pick the right man who's always going to hit you. Um, she was also talking about. She also gave another example about people who, in this case, was women, who say that nobody likes me. I don't know why people don't like me. I don't. People are like, I don't know why people. People who complain about, I don't know why people don't like me. And she was saying that she did a reading for a couple of her clients, and that was their complaint. And she was like, look at the way you talk to people, and the way your eye movements, your facial movements, your tone of voice, and your entire body language. When you're talking to people, what is it that people what is it that every time what is it about you that every time you engage with somebody, or most of the time when you engage with somebody, they don't like you? you cannot say that you are completely innocent of that. Something in you must be triggering them, must be triggering that hate or that dislike out of them. So, um, and she was like, maybe you talk to them condescendingly. You talk to them like you're better than them, and they get triggered. And I was like, yeah, that could be right because I do that. I know I do that. And she was saying that lots of people don't know that they have a fetish. She was, I think where she was going with that was like you. She was saying that most people, okay, then what happens is that when people don't like you, then you end up saying, oh, maybe it's because they're jealous of me, blah, 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 and blah. But you have refused to look at what you do that triggers that kind of reaction from them. So she was saying that she was giving an example about herself that she was like, I like to earn my jealousy. I like to earn the hate that I get. So I have to be aware of what I do to get the hate. And she says, and also I acknowledge it. So, and it's okay because she was saying that when people hate you or people dislike you, it means that you're doing something. But the whole point of that conversation was that people have to be aware of what they do subconsciously, and most of the time it's subconscious, to trigger that hate or that dislike or that resentment from other people. So you can control it, and so you don't act surprised, like you don't do anything, because you're not a victim. You're not a victim. You you're not innocent in this. You can't just be like saying, I don't know why people hate me. I don't know why people don't like me. I don't know why this. You must be doing something. So I was looking at myself and saying, yeah, I had to look at myself and say, yeah, I do. I used to be like that a lot. I'll I'll do something to somebody and then they'll react in the same way, and then I act surprised, like, why did they do that? But I did the first thing. I did it. Like I know how to cut a bitch off. Oh my god. Listen. I don't even waste time. I don't even waste time. If it doesn't matter how close I am to you. It doesn't matter how good of friends we are. If I sense that you're beginning to be, like those kind of friends that you friends and they start making snide comments about you, like, or condescending comments, or and I probably triggered that bit. I didn't know that, but I probably triggered that. But I react by just cutting you off. I react by just, and then afterwards when they cut me off, then I'm like, why did she do that? Or like when they block me on Facebook. Well, they didn't block me. The one that I'm talking about, I don't think she blocked me. I think maybe she did block me because I didn't see her. Or maybe she didn't block me. She unfriended me. Yeah. And I was like, why would she do that? I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking it. Why would she do that? But I've forgotten what I did. I cut her off first. I stopped going out with her because we used to go out a lot, and I was just tired of her complaints. Then she was complaining a lot, and I felt drained every time every time I, every time I parted with her after we used to go out and have coffee and have lunch and all that. But after every event, afterwards, um, at the beginning it was nice. We enjoyed each other's company. But then, she had a change in her life, and then, she wasn't really happy. And I felt like I bore the brunt of that because every time we met, it was just about how, somebody was doing this and that to her. And I just felt so drained. And afterwards, it's like, I can't take this. I'm not enjoying this anymore. So I just stopped going out with her. Every time she calls me, I'll just be like, no, I'm busy, And then, what do you expect? If you ask somebody who you've been going out with like almost every day, let's say, 4 or 5 times a week, and then suddenly they're always busy, eventually you're going to stop asking them. So that's what I did. And then when they unfriended me on Facebook, a year, is it a year? I didn't realize it early, but when I realized it, it was like, oh, she must have unfriended me on Facebook. At the beginning, I was like, I actually had the nerve to to get angry, forgetting that I cut her off. So yeah, it's like kind of like it's related to what she was saying. Like when we do things first, or we are unaware that we do things, and then when we get a reaction, then we act surprised. Um, and linking this to fetishes is is where you like this example where people who always say that I don't know why people hate me. Some part of you likes being hated. If you feel that people, if every time you are in a relationship with someone, it can be any kind of relationship, being a friend to someone, a friendship, or a loving relationship, or being a colleague or whatever. Every time you are in a relationship with someone, you get hated, then something about you or something that you do triggers the hate out of those people. And it's important for you to be mature enough, well, not mature enough, but for you to look at it, at least, like, the beginning point is acknowledgement. That's the it's the beginning point, but it's also the most difficult thing, because most people don't want to acknowledge that they are shitty. Most people don't want to acknowledge that they actually do trigger people, to hit them, to cuss them out, to hate them. And I have been like that for a very, very long time. I talk to people condescendingly. I was in denial about that for a very long time, but my sister told me that, and somebody else too. I don't know, somebody else. I don't know whether somebody else told me that. They don't really tell me directly, but they make comments like people like when you're talking to your friends, or with family and stuff like that, and they'll be like, they'll be like making comments like, like example, like people who think they're better than others, and you know that they're talking about you, and you just laugh. So my point is that everybody cannot be wrong about you, or most people cannot be wrong about you. If most people say to you that this is how you are, you talk to people like you're better than them. I just remember that my one of the men I dated a long, long time when I was young, I was 19, yeah. He used to tell me that you cross the street like the street like you own the street. I was young then, I was like 18 years old. I always had this sense of, you know, queenliness, and I don't want to be bothered with, peasants, and I always had this kind of aura. And I know, yeah, it drives people crazy, but I don't care. But yeah, it can trigger people. It can trigger people to hate you. And then when people hate me or retaliate, or it's not that people hate me. What usually happens is that people get triggered in a way. They start talking about me in a negative way sometimes when they are with other people. But it always comes back. And so I feel hurt, and I feel like, why would they do that? Why would they say? But I've forgotten. But I'm unaware of how I might have triggered that. And I was just talking to my cousin about sibling rivalry and all that, and I have that with my siblings. I can tell, like my siblings. I know they love me, but they hate me too. There's this is this we have this love hate, love resentment kind of relationship where my siblings, they love me and they'll be there for me, but I also sense a little bit of resentment, and a little bit, yeah, it's resentment, really, is what it is, between me and them, because of maybe things that happened in the past when we were kids. My sisters feel like I've always had an easier life. I think that's what they feel. Speaking of the speaker of the devil, it's my mom. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So I'll call her later on because I think the internet is not. Anyway, I'm saying all this to say, to get to the point, to get to talking about how we as creator gods have to come to terms with loving all that is. And it's related to the loving all that is video that I did like a couple of days ago, maybe last week, where we have to be accepting of all the things that we create. We have to be accepting of creating positive things and also creating so-called negative things. We create both love and we create both hate. We create joy and we create depression. We create praise and we create criticism. When we acknowledge the ways in which we may consciously think we are creating positivity, and perhaps also creating negative. There's no such thing as, okay, before I get into the positive and negative and good and bad. There's no such thing as good and bad, and there's no such thing as positive and negative. Everything just is. It's human beings, we are the ones that label, but everything just is. There's no such thing as positive. It's all part of creation. And this is where our God essence and our power of creation can really, really be potent when we see our creative process in this way. When we are able to acknowledge that when we are creating, when we are manifesting something, especially manifesting a goal, manifesting a desire or whatever, it will involve the creation of quote unquote negative things like criticism, hate, resentment, guilt, shame, and all those things. Then we have more power and more potency in our creation, because now we are open to every outcome. We are open to every we're open to every outcome. We don't really care about we don't care about what it's going to be, because we know that whatever it is going to be good. Whatever it is all part of creation. We are not trying to censor. Censor is the word that I wanted to use earlier. We are not trying to censor that. Okay, I want to create them. I want to manifest a car. I want to manifest a BMW, but I only want it in a way that will make me feel good all the time. Well, you're supposed to feel good all the time anyway. Okay, that's not a good example. I only want it in a way that where people are gonna love me and where people are gonna say nice things about me. If you say that, if you say that and you only focus on getting your BMW in that way, then you're gonna slow down the process of creation a bit more, because maybe the way you're gonna get your BMW is going to be in a way where everybody's not gonna like you. I don't know what example I can give by seeing how you can okay, let's say you want a BMW and you want a brand new BMW, but you want everyone to like you. Some people are going to look at you and be jealous, So if you're saying that I want a brand new BMW, but I only want to be liked and I only want everyone to say nice things about you, then you're blocking other ways in which you can get it, because you've closed down other channels because you're putting conditions on your creation, and you're not accepting of all that is. You're not loving all that is. Even though it's hate, it's still something to be loved. It's still something to be valued. It still has value in the process of creation, in the process of evolution. And it has to be welcomed with open arms. This is where loving all that is. I'm going to give an example of myself. For the longest time, not for the longest time, all my life, I have been running away from being hated. Oh my God, I was the quintessential nice girl. If if someone was looking for, well, if a country was looking for a poster child, where is my, which way is it? If a country was looking for a poster child on who's gonna be the nice girl, I'll be there. I'll be the picture of You'll see my picture. And because I've been so focused on not being hated, I have slowed down the process of earning money for me, and yeah, it has affected my earning potential, because the way I would like to make money, which is through coaching mainly, I have to say things that are groundbreaking, that are disruptive, and people don't like that. Most people don't, well, not most people, but some people are not going to like it. They're not even going to understand it. So if I keep running away from that, I'm not going to be able to make the money, the amount of money that I want to make, which is what I've been doing, running away from hate, which means I'm judging it. That's number one. And that means I have to water down my message to make it palatable. But then when you make a message palatable, then there's no point, because it doesn't have any, it doesn't shift anything. It doesn't have the potency again, yeah. So it doesn't shift anything. It doesn't change anything. So people don't react to it. It doesn't trigger people in a way that will make people buy your stuff. The example I've given, yeah, I don't know whether. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that as a creator God, creation or creating is our creating is our natural state. We create. We naturally just create, whether we are aware of it or we don't, or we are not aware of it. The process of creation involves every state of being, can involve every state of being. It can involve the state of being being the state of hate, or the state of love, or the state of joy, or the state of depression, the state of shame, guilt, the state of abundance, the state of I don't know, the state of wealth, or all the good and the bad things. So the state of creation can include everything, because it includes everything, because once you throw out a rocket of creation, once you don't really throw, yeah, once you throw out a rocket of desire, the creative energies get triggered, if you will, and everything starts getting into play. So the messages of love from people will come in. The messages of hate will also come in. Now you're a gravitational force. You're a gravitational force, and everything gravitates to you. Everything can come to you. If you say that while I'm creating, I only want the good messages, then you're going to thwart your creation, or you're going to slow down further. You're going to further slow down the process of creation, because now you are closing the door to you're closing the door to the energies of creation, the energies of creation, which the energies of creation, which in this case might be in the energies, the realm of like hate and criticism and other things. I don't know if I'm explaining this well enough, but I think I am. So the point I'm making is, yeah, understanding that creation, and creating involves all that is. It triggers all the energies that are. So therefore, when you are creating, especially if you are creating a new world, you are going to trigger both ends of the stick. You're going to trigger this end of the stick and that end of the stick. If you say, I only want this end of the stick, where people say nice things about me, people praise me, and you're going to slow down the process of creation, because this stick is also linked to this part of the stick, which is criticism and hate and resentment. And because as you are getting positive messages, the negative messages also help you to further um, streamline and to go to Turkish where we can go together. If not, let me know. Well, here comes the manifestation. I was sitting here thinking about